Wow.
It's amazing, eh?
Well,
Absolutely.
Fabrizio,
this is the right moment.
the right place. Well,
Yes.
I'm breaking Fabrizio out of the interview room, out of the boutique, in order to do what we've wanted to do for years, which is explore Bulgari in Rome.
Yeah, and this is one of the most important part of our history.
Yes.
This is the boutique, and everything started from Via dei Condotti, thanks to Sotirio, Giorgio, and Costantino. And when you see the Spanish Step and the Via dei Condotti, you see how this brand is absolutely unique if you compare with the other brand in watchmaking industry and even in jewelry world.
Yes. And today specifically, because you're watching this, because you saw this on the thumbnail, which is the 10th anniversary, 2 timepieces released today, this evening.
Yeah, exactly.
Not released yet, so we have to maybe hide from the people. But these 2 watches in particular, talking about history, they celebrate 10 years of the Octo.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very important moment for us as a 10th years anniversary. So we started this journey 10 years ago, first of all with the Octo Originale with our base caliber, and immediately after with the Octo Finissimo.
Yes.
And this celebration is very important because it's, let me say, that it's just the beginning of a new journey.
And the Octo was a great release. I remember when it came out, the shape was the same as the Finissimo, but it didn't move the needle on any level in comparison to the Finissimo. So what happened with that first Finissimo? Well, particularly the second year, I think, was when things just went atomic.
Yeah.
But what is it about the Finissimo that has accelerated the Octo to almost an iconic name that people recognize?
You know, in a certain moment we discovered that in our manufacturing side we had this amazing savoir-faire to make ultra-thin watches. And we start to develop this kind of movement with this kind of case. So it's very important, the movement, but it's even very important, the aesthetics. That's why the Octo Finissimo maybe it's so unique, because we have a very unique aesthetics and very unique movement. And on the other hand is a different way to wear a grand complication watch.
Yes.
So it's a very unique blend of different ingredients.
And we also have, in coming full circle with this model, because I want to get back to this model, because no doubt people have a question about this.
Yeah.
Is this unfinished?
This is a very funny story, because at the beginning the idea was to celebrate the 10th anniversary with the dial that he makes with one of the sketches of the watch.
Yes.
And we made the same for our minute and second and for the chronograph. And this is a very unique, because I make the sketch, and the idea was to make the sketch on the dial, directly on the dial.
Yeah.
And absolutely crazy and very, very funny idea. I love this kind of dial.
So what is this idea? Why do we have, because it's interesting, we talked about this, Marcus and I, and he said this is so interesting. It's almost like after 10 years we come back to the beginning of the circle, because the concept started with a sketch like this. And now we have it on the dial.
In these 10 years we make several limited editions with a very important guest. And at a certain moment, how can we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Octo with an Octo Finissimo starting from one of the first sketches?
Yeah.
So at the beginning the idea was very clear, to have a very pure design with very thin indexes, with our 12 and 6, with the small second counter move at 8. So this was at the origin of the Octo Finissimo. And it was after the minute repeater, the great success of the minute repeater in titanium. So this was the idea, very simple and clever. And all the elements of this dial have to tell you that this is the thinnest watch on the market.
Yes. Now the other thing that's a return with this watch is the titanium.
Yeah.
So again, we're closing the loop, because the first model ever was in titanium, and then the big breakthrough models that were accessible to people, obviously the minute repeater was an astonishing achievement and the first record.
Yeah, exactly.
But for the great majority of people, that was a stretch target.
Yes, the first Finissimo was made in rose gold. It was the manual winding tourbillon, and immediately after it was the minute repeater in titanium.
Yes.
And the minute repeater in titanium changed completely the perception of the watch, because we break the rules in terms of way to wear a grand complication watch, but even with a very contemporary design. And the idea was to amplify the sound of these very small hammers and very small gongs. That's why we decided to use the titanium. And when you see this watch is exactly the color of the titanium, so it's this warm gray, and we decided to have the same finishing for color, for the case, for the bracelet and the dial.
I think for most people, their first memory of the Finissimo is the titanium model, without the sketch. But you know, that to me, that was the iconic model. And when I've asked you about this before, you've said that is still in some ways the model that sums up the watch to you. Why is that? Why is this watch in titanium such a classic?
Today we have the market. The Octo Finissimo lovers is absolutely split in two. The more conservatives and the collectors who are obsessed by the thickness, they prefer the titanium.
Yes.
The collectors and the people who love watches, that love to wear the watches every day, prefer the Finissimo S in steel with the blue dial.
Yeah.
So today we have a lot of people say don't touch the titanium, and a lot of people say I prefer the steel because it's with 100-meter water resistant and screwing crown. Yeah. So it's absolutely parallel, and it's very important for us to keep working on these two different executions, because still today the Octo Finissimo is the thinnest Finissimo that we have until today, but is thinner than the Finissimo S.
Yes. Now, Fabrizio, there are only 200 models of the time only and 200 of the chronograph. Who are these models for? You've talked about there's two types of Finissimo wearers, or there's two types of camps of people that gravitate to one or the other. This one, I mean, I want this because I know you. And to me, this would be a very personal thing. But who do you see this watch being for with this kind of design, this human design?
But you know, Andrew, we have a lot of watch collectors that start to collect the Octo Finissimo.
Yes.
We have several limited edition with a very important guest, and I receive a lot of direct message on Instagram or WhatsApp call. I would love to have this one, where I can find it. And you know, it starts to become something that everybody wants to have.
Yes.
This is for us, it's very important. It's a completely different issue that we have to manage.
Yeah.
We are very happy about the results, but you know, the Octo Finissimo, it's something that it's a very, very unique.
I didn't fully understand Bulgari watchmaking until I came to Rome, which was about 24 hours ago. And to me, a lot of things fell into place, because you really can't walk down a street without seeing this incredible mixture of art and engineering. But tell me, what do you see right now?
Now I see a lot of geometrical elements.
Yes.
A lot of different colors, a lot of different noble materials, used in different way. Geometrical patterns, history, heritage. So I think I see a lot of different things that could be an inspiration for the next watch, and even for our eye jewelry pieces. So when you see and when you grow up with this kind of beauty, for us the beauty is something that we have in our DNA, in our blood. It's absolutely necessary.
And in some ways, like when you think of Italian design and you think of Da Vinci and you think of the sketches, was that part of the idea here, that we get even closer to the origin of the design?
Honestly, I have to tell you that the products are just an excuse to make sketches for me.
Usually,
Fabrizio
is sketching as we talk.
I start to see the things in a different way after 20 years in the company and after 50 years old, and I start to make sketches when I was 4. So today the product is an opportunity to make sketches, and everything started with the white paper, with the markers or ballpoint pen or fountain pen, and just a flow, a creativity flow from the brain to the fingers.
Yeah.
And this was the idea behind the Finissimo, and this was the idea behind this kind of dial, just a sketch put on the dial, because you know, with the Finissimo, the obsession that we have is to remove things, to have go back to the core of this kind of products. And in a certain moment we say, why don't you use a sketch? Is the anniversary, and we want to start from. We want to tell you that we started from this kind of dial.
I think this is the essential Finissimo. I really do.
It's very unique. Let me say, very, very unique.
And I just wanted to say, lastly, 10 years in, how far ahead are you with the Finissimo in terms of your R&D and in terms of your designs? Like, is this the beginning of an endless series for Finissimo?
But you know, it's a very unique journey. We started with the manual winding tourbillon, and after it was the manual winding minute repeater, and after it was the automatic hour, minute and second, the tourbillon, the automatic one, the skeleton version, the chronograph. You know when you start, you never know when you finish.
Yeah.
And in Italy, say, la fame viene mangiando. When you start to eat, you want to eat more and more. So this is the story of the Octo Finissimo. Each time that we find a limit, we want to. It's a different challenge, and to want to change this limit. And this is our obsession. This is the obsession of perfections that we are looking for.
So it's not the end, is your answer there?
I think for me it's never the end. It's just that you can change the way to, it's at the end of a journey, but at the same time it's the beginning of the new one.
Yeah.
And each time that we discuss a lot about watches, when we present a watch, which one is your favorite? I always say the next one, because when we present a watch, for me, is in the past. For sure we have some babies that we love.
Yeah.
Like mostly all the Octo Finissimo and all the amazing limited edition that we have done. But we are still working on Finissimo, and we're going to have different execution and different things in the next future that is going to be very, very interesting.
Now this one is more personal for you, isn't it? Does it feel like that?
Yeah.
The connection to you?
Yes. Yeah. I feel this one, and even the chronograph on the same, let me say, sketch edition, because for the chronograph was the same. The idea to have these 3 counters and everything start for me from a sketch. I was in Les Sentiers, and we start to imagine the phase of this movement, and I start to make sketches about the 3 counters with the GMT function, and exactly with the same dial, very pure in terms of aesthetics, with very clean indexes, and with all the elements that immediately reminds you to the original Octo Finissimo.
Well, look, that ends what I think is the most perfect location for us to finally. We have met in Ginza, absolutely. We have met in Dubai,
exactly.
We have met in Shanghai.
Yes, we have a very, very unique collection of videos.
We do, and
yes,
now we have
around the world.
Now we have the mothership. We have the home base. So thank you very much for showing me the city.
Great pleasure.